One of the frontrunners in the race to develop a COVID-19 vaccine says final stage human trials will begin in the coming weeks. Here's health reporter Gabriella Rogers.
US-based biotech Moderna has announced its phase 3 trials will begin in July. It plans to recruit 30,000 people across the US, the study's primary goal to prevent symptoms of COVID-19. It will also assess whether their vaccine can prevent hospital admissions or people from being infected. The company says it's on track to supply up to 1 billion doses of the vaccine each year. It's one of 5 projects being supported by the US government as part of Operation Warp Speed to have supplies ready by early next year. There are now
How long will this situation be sustained? 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 100 years? I try to find the clues in human medical history. Medical knowledge only from me or us. Since the coronavirus was rising up from China in January 2020, the whole world has been through the unprecedented crisis. We hope that it will be past very soon, but most of experts keep saying that this could be stayed longer than we thought. In fact, there were several times of infectious disease in human history, which would have affected to change the world. Tons of people were dying, and then human society had to change for literally survive. I will show you guys a few diseases with tremendous impact in human history. The Black Death. The first infectious disease traveled from Asia to Europe. It wiped out over half of the Europe's population. It was caused by a strain of the bacterium Yersinia pestis, spread by fleas on infected rodents. With so many dead, labor became harder to find, then bringing the end of systems of serfdom and technological innovation in Europe. Spanish flu. Estimated victims were 500 million people from the South Seas to the North Pole. It spread during World War I, cramped conditions of soldiers, and poor nutrition increased lethality. In fact, Spain was not the original location of disease, just one of the neutral nations in Europe during World War I, which could publish freely about this illness. When people read the obituaries, they saw the war or post-war deaths and the deaths from influenza side by side. The number of war-related deaths of young adults may have overshadowed the deaths caused by flu. To prevent the spread, many countries administered the blockade of most kinds of business. Many industries suffered losses, except healthcare and medicine industry. The war and pandemic attack by influenza contributed to the increasing number of women attending college and nursing field. HIV, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. It is epidemic, but the most tragic disease in the 20th century, because it still remained with no cure. It developed from a chimpanzee virus that transferred to human in Western Africa 1920s. About 64% people with HIV are living in sub-Saharan Africa. For decades, HIV medication developed in 1990s. It allowed the people who infected can experience normal lifespan with regular treatment. The terms vaccine and vaccination are derived from Variolae Vaccinae, the term devised by Edward Jenner to denote Cow-Pox. In 1798, he used it from his book, in which he described the protective effect of cowpox against smallpox. In 1881, to honor Jenner, Louis Pasteur proposed that the terms should be extended to cover the new protective inoculations then being developed. Then here is my first question. What was the first vaccine for human? There were informal and formal records about this. The first informal record is in China, 1500, about smallpox. It was not obviously vaccination because they didn't use that term, but the mechanism was very similar. Followed by the volume 6 of Joseph Needham, Science and Civilization in China, ancient Chinese used to inoculate in children by grinding up smallpox scraps and blowing it into their nostril. They already knew how to protect from the disease by their own experience. 200 years later, a beautiful Turkish lady named Mary Wortley Montagu had her son variolated in Constantinople to protect from the smallpox. Now, followed by the former medical record. In May 1796, English doctor Edward Jenner tested hypothesis that the infection of cowpox could protect a person from smallpox infection by the observation through a milkmaid named Sarah Nelmes. The 8-year-old boy, James Phipps, inoculated with matter from a cowpox sore on the hand of milkmaid. He suffered a local reaction and pool felt for several days and then made a full recovery. This is the first case to provide the vaccine for the protection from smallpox in human. The Royal Society rejected Dr. Jenner's achievement, so Jenner self-published a pamphlet called An Inquiry into the Causes and Effects of Variolae Vaccinae. Oh, this is the terminology of vaccine, right? It contained his successful case with material from cowpox, in addition to 22 related cases. So, here's my second question. How long will it be taken to get approval as a vaccine in public? Let me give an example, which is a recently released vaccine in public. Followed by the Immunization Action Coalition, the most recent vaccine is medRxiv for meningococcal conjugate vaccine, which is approved in April 2020. From the report of the Pharmacovigilance Plan Review, the documented review of safety was started in August 2018, got approval from CBER in April 2020, but officially available in 2021. It had taken almost 2 or 3 years actually to use it in our hospital. Moreover, many vaccines undergo the public monitoring, ongoing studies after the vaccine is approved and licensed. So, why is it so difficult to use right now? Before you take the vaccination, you need to know that there are multiple steps to be approved. First of all, there are various types of vaccine currently we use: inactive or live attenuated virus vaccine, virus-like particle vaccine, viral vectors vaccine, protein-based, DNA-based, mRNA-based vaccine. Before making vaccine, we have to find out the genetic information of virus, called as genetic sequencing. If we figure out the genetic information of virus completely, then we can design the proper types of vaccine. Basically, there are several steps for development of new vaccines: exploratory stage, preclinical stage, clinical development, regulatory review and approval, and manufacturing, and quality control. In clinical development, there are 3-phase process: phase 1, 2, 3. Phase 1 is a test in small healthy groups for safety. Phase 2 is the extended clinical study in widened group with specific characteristics. Phase 3 is a study in larger groups for efficacy and safety. Actually, there is a phase 4, which is post-marketing surveillance, kind of monitoring for users in public. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration's Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research is responsible for regulating vaccines in the United States. In South Korea, 식품의약품안전처 is charged of all these things. And there are also multi-steps approval process which includes This is really kind of journey. If you want to figure out about this journey, please visit CDC website link Vaccines for Your Children. There are so many steps to get a new vaccine. But the only thing we've got from now is that we should wait until the release of vaccine. So, before you're ready to get a shot of new vaccine, what do you have to do? Okay, number 1, social distancing. You want me to stop talking about this because you've already heard so many times, but you have to listen again and again. I know you guys want to go travel and have a party and make some friends outside, but no matter what you have reasons to do, keep in mind social distancing, because this is the most important way to protect your family and friends and colleagues from the virus. Number 2, keep wearing facial mask and washing your hands all the time. We all act consciously, but we also do many things unconsciously. We called habits. Scrubbing nose, touching your lips, biting the nails, etc. These are getting increased the chances to get the viruses into your body. Recently, in a few research about the surface stability of coronavirus, the virus was the most stable on the plastic and stainless steel, and viable virus could be detected up to 72 hours. When you are in the public places and touch anything outside consciously or subconsciously, you have to clean your hands or keep away from hands and face. You know, we can control every moment, or we can't. So, wearing the facial mask is the easier way to protect. And if you touch anything outside, you should better wash your hands if you don't want to carry viruses everywhere in your place. Number 3, keep your own immunity. No matter how medical technology is developed, but still there are many infectious diseases with no cure. Take your own immunity with good nutrition, regular exercise, and good quality of sleep. Then your immune system will work for you 24/7. What you have to care about is keeping your immunity, which protect your own body from the viruses. We've been through many infectious diseases in our history, but humankind had survived. And we keep preparing the changes all the time. But the viruses keep also mutating by their own way, by themselves. So we have to prepare it again. Please have on your patience and let yourself on waiting. I'm gonna finish this video by quoting a few sentences in Yuval Harari's message. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, leave the comments and subscribe my channel please. See you next time.